Yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Hey, listen, man, it's the one and only trendsetter DJ Sense, and you're listening to CockTales, dirty discussions with Kiki and Medina Monroe. Yeah.
Y'all, today's cocktail is called a Big Dick Baller on the Rocks. What you need to make a Big Dick Baller on the Rocks is Blanton's Black Edition Bourbon is $400 a bottle and some ice. Just get a little cocktail glass, put a little ice in there, pour a little Blanton's Black Edition Bourbon. Isn't that good? It's $400 a bottle. First of all, it won't be in my kitchen.
Would you try some of that or something this week?
No, girl, I Googled it. I was like, what's a really expensive bottle of bourbon?
Well, welcome back to CockTales Dirty Discussions, you guys. How was your week?
My week was pretty good. It was a little stressful. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know about you, Kiki, but I am still working from home and doing other things. And my job, they think that because we're working from home that we're not actually working. I understand how you could think that. I really understand how you could think that, but they think that everyone's workload is light. However, mine isn't. So they have been letting people go and then putting people's jobs onto other people. And it's like, have y'all lost y'all's goddamn minds? And now people are starting to quit because now you got people doing too much. And everybody's like, you know what? I'm actually just going to quit.
That's some bullshit. So now you've just been getting having to help everybody?
I am really like, you know what?
I would be over it. Yeah, I'm still working from home. We're not going back this year. I don't know when we'll go back. They're saying like maybe next year. I'm in no rush to go back to the office.
Have they had to do any layoffs?
Nobody's been laid off, which is great. But we've been working from home and I just don't want to be at work with everybody because I'm like, y'all be in the club every week. Like the clubs are open. So I work at a radio station. They're smoking hookah. They're going out. They're hanging out. They're doing all this stuff. And I get it. You want to make your money, but I don't need to be around you. I don't need to be a part of that. So
I'm in Oklahoma City right now. My sister's sick. She's pregnant. Thank the Lord. Can't wait to meet the little baby. But my sister is sick. She has type. She is due January 19th. I think so. So forgive me if you guys, I'm at my sister's house, if you guys hear any sickness in the background, like throwing up or coughing, if you hear a man scream because the game is on, there's a lot going on. I'm in the bathroom. But you guys, we have a special guest with us here today. We have Lauren Peacock, the author of Females Like Cheese. That's the name of it, right?
Yes, it's actually Female Likes Cheese, Comes with Dog. It's stories about divorce, dating, and saying I do.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, we kind of threw around different titles. You know how it is. You try things out. And actually the title came from my online dating profile. So we pulled from that. That actually worked out. That's how I got the guy.
Oh, wow.
What are your top 2 favorite online dating apps?
Oh, man, that's tough. Probably Date British Guys, which is the one I met my current spouse on, datebritishguys.com. And I don't know, it's tough because I feel like I liked Bumble a little more than Tinder because I felt like Bumble, you had a better choice than Tinder, but I felt like it was still more to the point to where you didn't have to go through like this huge profile and it just, you still could get your swipes on and you could kind of still see the photos, but you didn't just feel like you had to sit there all day.
I've never heard of Date British Guys.
I thought it was a fucking joke.
Well, I watch 90 Day Fiancé, so they have those for like every nationality. Would you ever go on a show like that?
Would I ever what?
90 Day Fiancé. I said, would you ever go on a show like that, 90 Day Fiancé?
Because I'm in film and television and I know a little bit more of behind the scenes, they probably wouldn't let me go on one of those, but I probably totally still would. I probably still would. Because
if you could slip through the cracks.
Yeah, if I could, I probably still, if they asked me, I would, but they would never would, because I know too much about how reality TV works.
That's
Lauren,
funny.
I read that you did something with Wiz Khalifa. What was that?
Music video, one of his music videos for his album Rolling Papers 2. Yeah, it was really fun. He's such a great guy. He's so much fun. And like,
he seems fun.
He is. He's fun. And like Snoop Dogg was there. Like he kind of showed up on
What'd
set.
you do for the video?
I was just one of the like production manager, line producers, so kind of did like ran all the departments, budgets, things like that, and helped.
Did you have sex with Wiz Khalifa or Snoop?
I was already engaged at the time, so, but I saw all the fun stuff that happens on sets that you can't talk about, but it was fun. He was a great guy, and he treated the crew really great, and it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Cool. Well, before we talk more to you, I guess we'll move on to weird sex, and then we'll come back and play a game with you and get to know more about you, your book, and some other questions we have about your dating life.
You said a man is not a necessity, a man is a luxury.
Like dessert. Yeah. A man is absolutely not a necessity.
Did you mean that to sound mean and bitter?
Oh, not at all. I adore dessert. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't really need them to live.
So, this week's weird sex. Speaking of fun stuff, did you guys know that there's a coffee shop in Geneva, Switzerland, and you get blowjobs? It's called Cafe Fellatio. And you can get your coffee and you get fellatio from whichever barista you want. And I think it's pretty cool, but I'm like, well, damn, what about the women? Sometimes we might want to receive a little something from the man making our coffee. Or woman, whatever you like. But yeah, it's legal in Switzerland. Prostitution is.
Do you pay now? Do the guys go in and like pay for it? Is it like $50?
Oh, you have to pay for it. Yeah, it's like $75 for a cappuccino. But yeah, you can get it, and they have these long tablecloths at some of the tables, and you pick the person, and they go under the table. You can sip your coffee, sip your espresso, and they'll suck your dick. And then you'll be done. She'll check her watch, say, okay, you've got 15 minutes of dick sucking, and then you can go. I think it's pretty cool. I think they could have came up with a more creative name. Huh?
Is it kind of like if you have, like, how there's like types of coffee, like the Americano and the espresso and things like that? Does it go, like, can you have your Americano
there's different
and
stuff,
then like
different styles.
Different type? Mm-hmm. That's actually really cool. Like,
there's a menu for all the services.
I mean, you got to give them credit for like being creative.
I think it's pretty cool.
Amsterdam. I mean, in Amsterdam, you basically have the red light district. It's their version of the red light district.
Exactly, and it's way cooler to have a coffee shop that offers dick sucking versus a brothel that'll give you some coffee on your way out. It's I think it's a great idea to do it that way. Excellent marketing techniques. Coffee is cheap, but head is not. So congratulations to those people. I mean, the business has been around for several years. I don't know how it's doing right now. It's probably closed, hopefully. But yeah, I found that and I was like, oh, this is such a cool little spot. Too bad they don't have those here. Sorry, guys. But yeah, that's it for weird sex. If anybody else sees a interesting article, anything cool, weird, nasty, super gross, deadly, send it to me. CockTales@atl@gmail.com, or you can DM it to me on Instagram at Kiki said so. So we play a little game, Lauren, with our guests. This week is the scenario game. So we're going to give you a couple of scenarios, and then we'll give you options to how you would answer or react in the situation, and then you pick from the multiple choice responses that we give you. Okay?
Sounds good.
You can go ahead, Medina.
Okay. Here is the first one. You go on a date. The chemistry is good, and you actually have a really good time with this guy. The check comes, and you notice he doesn't leave a tip. You, A, throw some cash on the table without him seeing you do it. B, apologize to the waitress as both of you leave and give her a little cash in front of him so he can see it. Or C, You don't tip either, so you really don't care.
Is there like a D option? Like,
there's not. There's an A, B, and a C.
I mean, like, it's America, and in America we're used to tipping. It's kind of standard, right? So, like, I guess I would pick B, but like a combination of B where I would tip the woman and then maybe on the way out say something, but maybe in a positive way, like, oh, you know, I used to work food and beverage in college, and man, those, you know, I know what it's like. You know, it's a hustle out there, and kind of put a positive spin on it to not make them feel like an asshole, but kind of use it to see what they say. Maybe about
teach a lesson.
Yeah,
teach him a lesson.
Right, like, you should know, but yeah, I guess that's kind of what, because you don't want to just make a scene, because, you know, some people, a lot of times now, a lot of restaurants do this 15% automatic gratuity in some places, but I still feel like that's no excuse not to know. I don't know. That's what I would pick B, I guess, in some positive form.
Okay, next one. Babe wants to take you on a date to a sex
club. Wait, y'all don't get to answer? I don't get to hear your answers?
I mean,
that's not fair.
I would give the waitress a tip. I would do B. I don't know. Was there apologize? Oh, apologize to the waitress. I don't think I would apologize to the waitress. If I saw he didn't leave a tip, I'm going to leave the tip. I won't see him again. That's it. I just feel like, you know, maybe if we were in another country, maybe if it was like some cultural difference, but I've not had that experience. So I'm basing this off of the guys who I have dated. You know, you need to tip. You're being cheap.
Yeah, like
I would go with B.
In England, they don't tip. So when
your man might not tip.
Right. When I first started dating my husband, I was like, what the fuck? You know, like, what are you doing? And we kind of had to, and then I learned over here, you don't tip. They get paid within
a decent wage.
Right. So, you know, culturally, but, you know, in America, I agree with you. You know, it's kind of like, what are you doing? It's
like, do you see the news? People are fighting about minimum wage, and these people are getting $2.13 an hour. You need to tip.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so Babe wants to take you on a date to a sex club and wants the both of you to participate in the festivities when you get there. A, Babe knows you so well and you can't wait to pick out a cute outfit. B, nope, not happening. C, you will go but only have sex with him.
I think I would probably choose C, but I think it's a lot of these questions come with buts. You got to have, I think, the talk and the rules before you go. So yes, if you go and you guys are all on the same page before you go, then I think it's okay.
Have you ever been to a sex club?
Actually, no. That's the one thing I have not. I've done many things, but that's the one thing I have not done. I've had many friends go, and they've had some wonderful times and some that have not. Walked away with not so good of times. But have you guys been? What is it like? Tell me all about it.
I'm one of the have-nots. I didn't have a good time. I went one time, and I went by myself though, and I was a lot younger. I was nervous, and I was like not being harassed because it was a sex club, but it was like it was too much, and I left. I was probably there for like 15 minutes.
Okay, so but I would think go ahead. No, sorry, Kiki.
I went with a friend she wanted to go. So she was like, will you come with me? And I was like, yeah. And then we went with this other guy that we know who goes and like frequents and like has sex there all the time. I didn't participate with anybody. I had no intentions of participating with anyone. It was interesting to see because I had been curious to see what it would be like for myself. But there was nobody in there that I would want to have sex with.
Yeah.
I would go again, though. I would try it again at my age now. At my right age.
I would go with somebody who I wanted to have sex with and then just kind of see what happens. I feel like maybe if there were attractive girls, something with them maybe, but like the other men, I doubt it. One penis is sometimes more than enough for me.
I think if you, as you get older, and I can understand being younger and being alone, it might be a lot. But I know people that have done it older that have had good experiences, and I feel like if you're a couple and you have the conversations, then it might be it might be something. But yeah, it's something I haven't done. And
Mm-hmm.
who knows? You never know.
Right.
Okay, Lauren Peacock. Well, that's the end of our little game. I think it was.
No, there was another question.
Oh.
The number 3.
Wait, there's another
You
one.
skipping every damn thing. You didn't even ask me how I was doing.
Wait, what?
I said, you didn't even ask me how my week was. We just went going on. It's number 3. You start dating a guy, he mentions he doesn't eat pussy.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Mm-hmm. You see it? Like, second page.
Lauren, you start dating a guy, and he mentions he doesn't eat pussy. You, A, don't care because you don't like it anyway. B, can't deal with him and his childish ways. Or C, think you can change him.
Well, you can't change anybody, so I'm going with B. You can't deal with him and his childish ways. Yeah, basically.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we would all think B. Like, what?
Bye.
Mm-hmm. And definitely not something that you have to do every time if you're not good at it. But like to say you don't do it. Hold on.
Like,
now, wait a minute. Now you're closed off.
I mean, what if I said that I didn't give head? I mean, you would basically you would try and teach me that, right? You would be giving me the books, the links, the everything to make me learn how to give you head. So
right.
I'm going to find somebody else.
Mm-hmm. That's what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame you.
Kiki, how was your week? I didn't realize you didn't say how your week was.
It's all right. We can move on. It was a mess. Okay. So this week, Lauren, we're talking to you. We want to know. So you wrote this book. You talked about being married. You talked about being divorced. Before we even get into that, let's talk about adult sex versus like college age sex. Did you go to college? Where'd you go?
I did. I went to Flagler College. Well, I went to 2 colleges. The first one I went to was Catawba College in North Carolina. It was like a small liberal arts college no one's ever heard of. And I was there for 2 years, and then I transferred down to Flagler College in St. Augustine by the beach. Way more fun. Mm-hmm. And although I don't know, there's sex in both places. And so, I graduated with a media productions degree in communications and graduated 11 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of sex in college? That's probably where I had the most sex.
My first year of college, I had a lot of sex with a lot of people, and then I met my first husband my second year, and then had a lot of sex with him. So that became relationship sex.
Was it good?
Or was it boring?
Are we talking about the first year of college sex with a lot of people, or the relationship sex?
The relationship sex first. That's what I want to know about.
It wasn't bad. Like, I mean, sex with my first husband wasn't bad, but would I say it was as good as other people that I've been with before and after? I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, it was regular. It was regular sex. Regular sex.
Okay, so what about the casual sex you were having the first year of college? Was that fun?
That was just like hormonal. I'm out of my parents' house. I'm fucking everything in sight. And
were you a virgin when you went to college?
No, fuck no. But I had really strict religious parents, okay? Like, especially my mom. So, like, there were rules. I wasn't really allowed to date. And I talk about this in the book. Like, like you had the 6th sense rule. Like, God had to come in between you. And, like, there was no, like, you couldn't, you weren't supposed to have sex. I totally did it anyway. But when I got to college and I was free and all this kind of stuff, I was like, ooh, boys. Like, fuck everything in sight. So I did. And it was great.
But let me ask you a question, because there's 2 types of I fuck everything in sight women. There's the kind that everyone knows you fuck everything in sight and you're
I know. Yeah, it was.
And then there's the one where people don't really know you be fucking everybody. Which one were you? Were you the hoe?
I mean, I don't know, because I wasn't just I wasn't just fucking, like, I was fucking a couple people at school, but then I was also fucking a couple people out of town. So I wasn't just fucking everybody at one location. So, and I wasn't just also telling everybody. I was telling a few friends, but it's college. You know, it's a small college. 2,000 people. People know who you fuck. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like, there are of course people that are gonna talk. But I mean, I kind of followed that trend after my first husband. I fuck people on the road. I'm a road fucker. I don't know what it is. Like, I just, like, I meet people in different cities and like, and I think that's where it followed as well, because then when later in life you want relationships and you find somebody great in a different city, and then you have this idea of maybe it'll work out, but you know, it doesn't. But I mean, I was an in-between hoe, maybe we'll call it that. I don't know. We'll go with that.
Oh my God. Okay. So when you were meeting these people, what was it? We did a bonus episode, that was posted today, Monday, when we're recording this. And I asked the ladies that I did the episode with, what was, your sexual first impression with the person that you most recently fucked? What were these first impressions with these guys that you were fucking on the road? Were they good? Did they just look good? Did they talk a good game? Like, what was it that made you want to fuck them? Or were you just horny?
I would say, like, are we talking about college or adult?
Yeah, college.
So college. I was just horny in college. I was just horny. Like, it was, because you know how they say, like, later in life your hormones change, and like in your 30s you're like more horny. No, that started, like, it runs in the family. Like, we are horny young. So I was just horny at 18, 19, horny, ready to go. Like, I was almost like, am I a boy? Like, am I because I think there was so much going on with the fact that when you're told no your entire life, of like, no, you can't date, no, you can't wear that, no, you can't go here, you want to do all those things. I mean, that's like the typical parenting thing. If you tell a child no, what are they going to do? They're going to turn around and do the other thing. So, and I think with that and hormones, I was just off to the races.
Wild with it.
I understand.
Did your mom ever find out? You said she was the most religious one.
Yeah, I mean, they've read the book. That didn't go over well. So what
did they say when they read it?
It didn't go well. It didn't go well at first, but they're okay now. I think they were just shocked that, I mean, there's a lot of life lessons in the book too that, you know, I think if I'd made a couple decisions differently.
What do you think in your book is one of the most shocking things to your family?
All the sex. Like, in all honesty, like I think I think it's the sex part, not like, there's explanations of learning lessons, like why I chose to have sex with certain people, or if I liked a certain person, why I chose to have sex with them, or why I wanted to, or why I wanted a relationship to work, or whatever the case may be. And I think now they see that overall picture, but at first reading that, I can understand that being a shock. But I think a lot of millennials who the book is for, people in their 20s and 30s who are out dating and doing what I was doing, just wanting to find somebody who accepts who they are inside, and maybe they're not going about it the right way, because when do we ever make the right decisions all the time in life? You know, that was kind of what I was doing with the book, was I wanted people to understand that it's okay that you're out trying to date and you may have sex, or you may be divorced, or whatever the case may be. So
did you ever go through a phase of sleeping with married men?
Honestly, I only slept with one married man. I think because I had been cheated on by my first husband for 2 years, I didn't go that route. Like, when I found out someone was married, I backed away from a situation like that. Like, the only married man that I slept with was going through a divorce and I knew about it. So.
How'd you find out that your husband was cheating for 2 years?
From the girlfriend. She actually outed him. She texted me one night a bunch of pictures of the two of them, and she called me twice. I actually knew her. She'd been to our Christmas parties and been out on the boat with us. She worked at the country club that we were members of. Like this, like country club with golf and all that stuff. And, yeah, she worked at the babysitters club there. But, we don't have kids. I am not like, okay.
Not babysitters club. Say hello to your friends.
I'm telling you.
What?
She worked, and this is now a Trump club. Let me just tell you, it's now a Trump-owned club. And she apparently, rumor has it, slept with other married men there too. But
how old was she? I'm just curious.
She's like 2 years older than me. I'm 33. She's like 35 or 36. And I felt like something was, in your gut, you just feel like something's up. Somebody's always, like, he was always talking to her when we would go to the gym. Like, he'd go outside and talk to her, and there'd be like some excuse like, oh, she asked me a question about, I don't know, like something he was doing, like hunting or whatever, something stupid that you just know is full of shit.
She's not hunting anything but husbands.
That's exactly what she was doing. And then she eventually hunted mine. So she, I guess, I don't know when it started, but I think it started around one Christmas one year, because she called me one day. I missed it. And all of a sudden, a bunch of texts came in with pictures of them. And
did you have a feeling? Did you ever have? I'm really intuitive, and sometimes something very small can happen and it'll make no sense, and I already know the whole story.
I was leaving the club one day, and someone at the club, like a receptionist, said something to me, and I don't know specifically what she said, but I left and I was like, something's not right about like the two of them, and I was like, something's not right. And I didn't know at what extent it was. But when I got all those pictures and all of that, I picked up the phone, I called her, she answered, and I said, how long has it been going on? I said, how long have you been fucking my husband?
Did you tell her job? I'm calling the job. I'm printing out some flyers and I'm passing them out at the country club. Y'all want some tea and a flyer?
I don't know how that went down, but I think she'd already quit. But she wasn't there anymore, because we had kind of, I guess, if you want to call it, separated, because he had gotten in some trouble, and I can't say too much legally, but I'll just leave it at that.
Girl, we don't care about him.
Yeah, but we had kind of separated, so I had heard that she'd left or something had happened. Maybe she'd gotten fired. But either way, she outed him, and it made the divorce so much easier, because I knew he had no leg to stand on with the fact that I was like, okay, well, we're basically, we can tie this up pretty quickly. So yeah.
Did you ever feel like you were going to have like a snap moment? Like, I might kill one of them, or both?
I'm really glad that when I found out, I happened to have two friends in town. And I'm really glad that happened, because I think if I had been alone, I probably would have had a harder time. I mean, I had a hard time as it is, because I spent 8 years of my life with this person. I met this person
a big chunk of life
at like 1920, like right after, middle ho time or whatever. And it was a really hard moment. And it was I went into a very dark hole, like a lot of people do during a divorce, because you know you've picked the wrong person before that moment. I knew I picked the wrong person years before. I was just stuck.
Did you know that you picked the wrong person before you even married him? You know how sometimes people just continue with a relationship because maybe you're scared to leave, or you just want to create some fairy tale story that's really not real and you really knew it the whole time?
I mean, I think there was some denial. I think, I don't think I had in my head, oh, I'll just get divorced. I don't think there was anything like that. I think I went into the marriage with, oh, but I love him and he, and he loves me. But I think I knew he was a liar. And I think I just was young and made excuses for bad behavior because he loves me. And he was a narcissist. I mean, he was a narcissist. And I think I was just young and knew it all and thought I could change him, because when you're 20, 21, 22, you do. You think you can change people at that age.
You do. And you really can't.
So what was it like when, so you get divorced, you're going through your depression, and eventually you must have come out of it because now you're engaged again. What was the transition like going from being divorced to now being back in the dating world?
I mean, I would say that, I mean, it took, even though I had finalized the divorce, I was out of the divorce, it took a good probably 2 years, even though I was dating a little bit. 2 years before I felt comfortable in myself, where I felt like I got myself back. And I think even though I had dated here and there, I would say it was probably being back in Atlanta. So I would say maybe a year. I did move back to Atlanta from living in South Florida with him, where I felt like, oh, this is a fresh start. I'm back in a city that I was born and raised in. I'm, it's a new life, and I'm back.
Did you guys have kids together?
No, and I am so thankful for that. That was a very, very big blessing in disguise. But yeah, it was being back in Atlanta and being able to kind of be around friends and people I grew up around, and I think that was a very good starting off point. And then being able to go out on dates, and even though I was rusty, and honestly having sex again, to know that it's okay to be with somebody else, even if they're not.
What does being rusty look like to you? Like when you're rusty at dating?
You don't know how to flirt. You don't remember how to flirt. You don't remember, what do you say? It's like you're back in high school. What do I say? What do I do? Am I, like it's awkward, and you just forget because you've been in the same pattern and the same routine. So
were you having sex at the end of your marriage, like before you found out he was cheating on you?
No, like I hadn't had sex with anybody until a year after the marriage.
But like I'm saying, within your marriage, like with your husband.
No, he did not want to have sex.
How long did that last?
Well, he was having sex with her, so I would want to have sex, and then he would make excuses, and that's where
like what
kind of excuses? I'm always curious to know, when men are cheating, or when anyone's cheating and you're actually married, what is the excuse you say that really works for your person not to be like, I know you're cheating? I would be like, I know you're cheating. What were the excuses?
He would say, due to like some situations that were happening that I can't talk about, he would say, oh, it's a very stressful time for me right now, mentally and emotionally. And, it's really just kind of killed my libido, and I'm just not feeling like mentally just not all there with it. And it was stuff like that. And like the first time or two, you're like, okay, I understand, it's stress, whatever. But then when you hear that same excuse, you're like, no, what's going on here? This is ridiculous. And then they psychologically manipulate you to like blame something on you for the problem, like on why they don't want to have sex. So then it's your fault that you're not having sex. So maybe it's because you've put on a little weight. And
he said that?
So, like, I don't know if I feel,
I'm telling you right now,
I don't feel as attracted to you right now because you've put on a little bit of weight. So it's kind of made me not so as sexually attractive. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now, whether or not,
can
like,
be trash.
That's mean.
Like, what?
Like, I can say some really mean things in arguments, and even, I don't know if you get on my nerves, but that's mean, bro.
Yeah. So,
do you think he even loved you anymore?
Well, I don't think, because he is a narcissistic sociopath, I don't think he knows how to love, like in his brain makeup. I don't think he can understand what love is. So I think he liked me for his gain. So in the beginning, due to certain situations, whether it was socially or whatever, whatever worked for him, I think he liked me, and he married me for whatever his purpose was at the time. And then when that didn't work, or whatever his needs weren't met, I wasn't meeting whatever needs he needed, he went on to her, and whatever those needs were,
Are they still together?
Yeah, they had a baby, and they live in Colorado, and apparently he works in some like minefield or something. I mean, he looks basically like the Geico caveman, and I don't really know what he does, but I don't really care. But they live out there in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, so I want to talk more about you moving on. So, okay, you re-enter the dating world. You said you were on dating apps. What were your dating apps of choice and websites?
Okay, so before I did the whole date British guys, I was basically on Match, Tinder, and Bumble. Those were the three. Tinder, I went on a few dates, but I would say that probably wasn't the most successful ones, because it was very much like you'd have the talking game, and it would just go on and on. But honestly,
I'm blocking you.
From Tinder?
Yeah, like if people keep going, if we just go back and forth, like, what are you
absolutely.
doing?
No, like commit. Go on a date and commit. But to be honest with you, I would say, Match, I know people like really get annoyed with Match, and I know new ones like Hinge have come out. Hinge had kind of like started, but not really, when I had kind of been meeting my husband at this time. But Match, the thing with Match is it can be frustrating, but I went on some good dates. Now, they didn't necessarily turn into relationships, but I went on some really good dates with Match. It is like a needle in a haystack, though. You have to be honest, I think, on your profile. And I think a lot of people try and put what they think other people want to see or hear, and they're not completely honest. And that's one thing that I recommend to anybody doing any type of dating profile, whether it's JDate or Christian Mingle or Zeus or Hinge or whatever. Just be honest, because like if you smoke and you put you're not a smoker, you're going to be miserable trying to fake that, like you just, or also like,
people do that?
Yes. There would be people that I would go out with and they're like, oh, I just quit. And I'm like, but did you really?
You still smell like cigarettes.
Right. I'm like, did you quit when you walked in the door? Like,
right.
Like, if you
I'm not going to lie, I'm horrible with the online dating apps. I'm one of those people where I don't really put a lot on my profile. I put pictures of me and most of the hairstyles that I like to wear, short, long, pulled back, real, fake, so you get a gist of what I really look like. But I don't really put much in my bio. I put my name.
And people that are like that prefer like the coffee meets bagel. Coffee meets bagel is great because it's still a shorter, like little, or the league, it's still shorter profiles where you don't have to put a lot. And I think the big thing about online dating is that people don't realize these days, and millennials are bad about it, and Gen Zers are even worse, is just be honest. If you don't like somebody or you don't really want to meet up, just say it right away. Like, don't continue, like you said, this like texting, like just like get it done, nip it in the bud. You either meet or you don't, but like, let's not waste everybody's time. And I don't know where we got on this whole trend of wasting people's time. Yes. Like,
people are bored.
I don't understand. Yes. I'm like, we're bored.
But let me ask y'all this. Have you ever wasted someone's time and you knew you were wasting their time?
Yes. And you know what? I've actually like started to apologize for shit like that. Like, I apologized to a guy 6 months ago for wasting his fucking time. I'm like, you know what? You remember back like blah, 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 I don't know, 3 years ago when we were supposed to go back out. I don't know. It was something, whatever. I said, you know, I just wanted to say I'm really sorry. And I apologized to him for whatever that situation was. And he appreciated that. And I just feel like we're not doing that. We're not like, we either need to stop wasting, but yet we want instant gratification. We waste people's time, but then we expect instant gratification on things. I'm like, you can't. Anyway, I don't understand it, and it frustrates me.
Do you ever want to get glammed up, but you just feel like you don't have the time? What if we told you there's a service that can come to you? Yeah, there is an on-demand beauty, styling, and personal grooming platform that comes to you to make you fine. Literally, Dashing caters to today's professional, from working professionals to students and everyone in between, because looking good should be easy for everyone. Check them out on all social media platforms at Dashing App, or book your appointment at trydashing.com.
Cupcake Candles produces hand-poured soy candles for men and women. Their special blend of waxes create luxury, long-lasting fragrances to complement any mood. Follow their Instagram page at cupcake.candles and check out their website, www.cupcake-candles.com. For 20% off, use code CockTales at checkout. That's CockTales at checkout at www.cupcake-candles.com.
Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. We both really appreciate it. We're trying to deliver more bonus content to you on a regular basis. Well, not trying, we are. And we will be releasing new bonus episodes every Monday. Here's a snippet of the most recent episode featuring me and Ace and Cartel from the Coffee and Cream podcast.
What did you do? I'm about to get
You gotta get in the middle so I can see.
Go ask. She asking you.
Okay,
I
so
need a demonstration.
Okay, so I've done it on this couch before. So
get in the middle couch, so we can see.
Okay, so on this couch, I'm like literally right here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So the back.
Do you turn to the side, or you just doing that so I can hear you? I need all the details.
So you can hear.
Okay.
Me. So sometimes my hands are on the little mantelpiece back here. Other times I might like put my face. Like,
yeah, you want to look at that nigga.
Yeah, I want to see him so he can see me. Like, oh my God, it's so great.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if you want to hear the rest of that story, it's the most recent bonus episode from Monday, August 24th. There's a new bonus episode every week. There's plenty of episodes already up. And we also take suggestions from our patrons. You get first dibs to let us know if it's something that you want us to talk about on a future episode. You get early access to content when it's available. You also get bonus content that is for no one else. So please sign up, www.patreon.com/cocktails. And now we'll get back to the show.
I don't understand it, and it frustrates me.
So how'd you end up on datebritishguys.com?
My business partner at the time in Atlanta, he is British, and he was saying, you know, why don't you try online dating? And I basically threw something in his face, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I've been online dating for what seems like decades. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I quit online dating. I'm not doing that again. And he's like, no, why don't you try international dating sites, because you're always traveling, you know, with work or going out of the country and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, it's just going to be the same. And so then he said, why not just look into it? And so, you know, I was in LA one night getting drunk as usual, and I decided to get online and look and see what the top dating sites were for the international sites. And sure enough, on the BBC, besides Match and, you know, eHarmony and all that, was this Date British Guys. And I was like, that has got to be a joke. And it looked like a joke. It looked like AOL 2.0, and I signed up because I was drunk. And then I was on there for like, I don't know, a week. It gives you like a trial. And sure enough, I saw my to-be husband, and I was like, well, he's pretty cute. And sent him a little wink, and
I'm going to download that app as soon as we're done recording. I never knew this existed. I'm going to see who I can match.
You know, there's some really cute guys on there, and you don't have to be like British. There are Germans on there. There's, you know, Irish guys. There's like other countries. So it's not just British, but it was started by a British guy and an American woman who ended up getting married, and they were like, oh, more people should be like us. And they expanded it they have a really great romantic story, but they expanded it to other countries and things. But yeah. And, we just started talking. And to be honest with you, I was so fed up with all of this swiping nonsense that I was just like, I don't know what this guy is going to be like, but I'll just, you know, I don't have time for all this nonsense. And so we ended up meeting like a month later in England, and I thought he would stand me up. But he didn't. And, he was the one that actually was
met. What was that first date like?
We met outside of London, in Warwick. There's like a castle, and you know, it's lit up at night, and we kind of had dinner and walked around, and
that sounds romantic.
It was nice. And he actually he kind of you know, we wanted to see how the date went. And if the date went well, we had a trip planned for the weekend, because I was in England for a couple of weeks, that if it went well, we would spend the weekend together. And it went well. So we spent the weekend together. And on the first night, he basically sat me down the first night, like first hour of cocktail hour, and was like, where is this going? And normally you do that at the end of the weekend, you know, because if it doesn't go well at the end of the weekend, you guys can go your separate ways. Maybe you've had a good weekend and that's it. But you don't do that on the first, because then, you know, if it's awkward. But no, he did it. And I was like, well, I'm not looking for a pen pal. You know, I don't really, I'm 31. I'm not looking for a pen pal. So we kind of had the talk on the first weekend of like, let's give this a real try. And that kind of just went on from there, and we did the back and forth, and that was that. So
where do you live now? Do you live in Atlanta?
I'm actually sitting in England right now. Yeah. I was finally able to get over here because the quarantine and the rules and everything. And so he has applied for a green card, but because of everything going on with politics, he has not been able to get over here. So before that, I've been in LA. So I've finally been able to get over here to be with him. And I stopped to see my parents in Florida. So like, it's, as you know, with LA, everything right now is just so, you know, with the quarantine and everything. And so I was really happy that I was finally able to come over here. So I am coming to you live from England.
Okay.
England. That's super dope. Do you think that commitment is hard?
You know, I do. I think it's hard if you make it hard. I think some people are better at being committed than others. I think it has a lot to do with insecurities and possibly your past. Like, I feel like if you grow up with rejection a lot, whether it's being rejected from a parent or, rejection at school or whatever the case may be, I think that can lead to, you know, insecurities maybe in a relationship that you don't realize that, you know, you may feel, or you may, I guess, project onto somebody else that may then in fact lead to commitment issues. So, I mean, but I feel like in my first marriage, commitment was really easy. And I was like, yes, marriage, this is how it works. You're committed. It's great. I'm excited. Here we are. And I think because I worked so hard to be independent, and to learn how to be by myself and self-love and self-care, and that not everything is your fault, that the second go around, I was like, but I took such good care of myself, and now I have to give myself up to somebody again. I think it was scary. But then once I let go of that, it's been really great.
What do you think? I mean, that's a good thing to learn. But what else did you learn from being married?
The first go around or the second? Or this time?
First.
Or just the first?
Well, you're engaged or did you get married?
No, I'm
already?
married. I'm married. So what have I learned in the first one?
Well, either one then. Either one. Yeah. What have you learned just about yourself that might be helpful to other people?
It really, the little things really do not matter. Like there are so many, like if you focused on all the little things that like, I mean, it could be something as simple as like chores around the house or whatever the case may be. If you're nitpicking at someone about every little thing, you are never going to be able to get through the bigger things. And there are so many big things that happen in life. Look at the pandemic, you know, look at people in relationships in the pandemic and being separated, you know, spouses and families or just in general, people being together in a pandemic and having to be under the same roof and for that amount of time. If you are focused on tiny little things that don't matter all the time, I think that was a really big thing I learned in the first one. And just in life in general is like, it's not like we hear all the time, don't sweat the small stuff. And you really can't, you know, focus on the real big important things and how you're going to get through those.
It's funny that you say that because I always go through these like ups and downs when I think about being a married person. I used to be like, oh my gosh, I want that fairy tale ending, which I do, but now I'm not sure if I want married. And then some days I'm like, oh my gosh, I do want to be married. My sister just got married. It'll be a year in October.
Aww.
And being here and staying with them for, it's just a couple of days now, but I'll be here for a whole week and watching how sick she is. Like my sister's on a bunch of different medicines and she can't really even leave the bed, and watching her husband take care of her, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's not pretty. Like there are a lot of things she can't do on her own that you want to do privately that I hope that one day if I'm ever in a position like that there is someone by my side that is going to be there with me, no matter if I'm getting on your nerves, no matter if you're mad at me, like you got my back for forever. And it really is a beautiful thing, not thinking about the hardships of marriage, but someone that's really going to be there for you when you need them, the bigger picture. And I couldn't imagine if she was going through this on her own. Like I'm here just for like moral support, but her husband really got her, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And that's why, you know, I see friends and I see friends settle, or I see friends say, oh, I want to get married so bad, or I want to start a family, or I want to do all of these things. And it's like, or they get frustrated because they're like, why am I not meeting anybody? And it's like, I would rather people really take the time to find the right person than to settle for the wrong person. And like, it's the most frustrating thing when you do see people getting the things that you want faster than you're getting
everyone around you.
Yeah. And you're like, what the hell is wrong with me? And I was feeling that way. And I know friends are feeling that way because they see what's happened to me. And nobody likes to hear, you know, it just takes time or it just takes the right person. But like, I look at the person that I have now compared to the person that I was with. And like, I am with, you know, what you described with your sister. I am with the person that, you know, was on the phone with me when I got a really scary breast scan. You know, like those are the people that you want that are going to drop everything and be there for you when things are really bad, and that are not going to be worrying about who was right and who was wrong in an argument that you had 3 days ago, you know? And I think that's when, you know, whether it's online dating, whether it's dating in the community, or wherever you decide to find that person, you have to just keep, it's like finding a job. You have to just keep like pushing out those applications, so to speak, and just keep being on the hunt. You know, I mean, you just can't give up and they're not going to find you if you're just crying in your closet.
Now, this is an interesting question, and I wonder how you're going to take this because of how when you said hunt, this just sparked in my mind because we talked about the Babysitter's Club girl who stole your first husband.
Oh, well, yes.
We called her a husband hunter.
Well, yeah.
Do you sometimes look at people and like, do you look at your ex-husband now and think like, well, now maybe he was supposed to be with her,
You know, I have.
Even though it was hurtful and the things that happened, like what if people get married and you really do fall in love with someone else?
You know, as much as that crushed my life, and as much as I look back and I have moments of weakness and I'm like, well, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be in this situation and boo hoo hoo. We all have days like that. We all have days where stuff like that happens. But if the two of them are meant to be a Bonnie and Clyde, or if the two of them are meant to have broken up a marriage, because it takes two, even though she entered it, whatever. And if the two of them are happy, I don't know. I've become indifferent about the situation because I'm now so happy in what I have that I don't want to let feelings of hate interfere with what is good in my life. So
I have to amen to that.
Maybe they're meant to be. Maybe he'll do it again. Maybe she'll do it again. I don't know, but things I do believe you somehow do go on whatever path you're meant to be on, and things, you know, you don't know. Who knows what'll happen next.
Have you ever watched the show Dr. Foster on Netflix?
No, but everybody keeps telling me
I have.
to.
You should watch that.
Really?
You should watch it, Lauren.
That's kind of what happened. I mean, not exactly, but it's similar. Like, there's a girl who had been around and she's sleeping with Dr. Foster's husband. And they end up, well, I won't tell you what ends up happening, but there's 2 seasons on Netflix. It's really good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna start that tomorrow now.
Good. Then we went off on a different.
Sorry about that, y'all.
No, girl, it's fine. I like the discussion. We are going to take a quick break, go to Indecisive Diane, and when we come back, Lauren will help us with advice.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want?
Hey, ladies, it's me, Indecisive Diane, and boy, do I have a hell of a treat for you today. So listen, there's a place. It's called the Atlanta Breakfast Club. Oh my God, you're gonna love it. They have a French cobbler. Literally, it's warm and gooey, just like my... Okay, here's the address. 249 Ivan Allen Jr. Boulevard, Atlanta, Georgia, 30313. Tell them I sent ya!
So make sure you guys sign up on patreon.com/CockTales for the bonus episodes. We release new bonus episodes every Monday. So if you want only the audio version, you need to sign up at least the $3 tier. And if you sign up at the $5 tier, there will be video available for you. So don't forget to sign up and tell a friend and tell a friend. Now we are going to move on to advice. Every week you can send in your emails to askcocktails@gmail.com, and maybe we will read your email on the show and give you some advice if we can. So do you have one pulled up already, Medina?
I have one pulled up, and the subject line says, Mr. fucking Flaccid. Hi, ladies. So I have a story for y'all, and I need some major advice. I was dating a guy long distance, and everything was going great. We had the best conversations, a similar sense of humor, and we both were looking for a relationship. Y'all, I seriously thought this man was my future husband. She followed me. Although we didn't live in the same state, that did not keep us from seeing each other. He decided to come to my hometown to visit me. We went on a great date, and we had great ass chemistry. You ever met someone and had an instant connection with them as if you all dated in another life? Dramatic, I know. Girl, it is not dramatic because I be feeling like that a lot. It happened to me 3 times during quarantine. So after our date, I was ready to fuck him. We got back to his hotel room and we were all over each other. He gave me the best head. And so I returned the favor and gave him my VIP dick sucking special. Everything was going great until we started having sex. Y'all, This man went soft while he was inside of me. Eventually, after a small struggle, I got him semi-hard and we were able to finish, in quotations. Although I was not satisfied, I still really liked him. This man had the nerve to think he actually laid the pipe. The fuck? I gave him the benefit of the doubt and I continued to talk to him every day. I figured maybe it was just that one time. Bitch, no. Speed up a few months later, he decided to come visit me again. We had a great weekend, but he went soft again. After he went home, he kind of started to ghost me, but I'm 30 years old and he's 32. I don't have time for no petty games. So I called him and I asked, how did he feel about me? He told me that was a loaded question, but ended up saying he doesn't think we have chemistry, but he still wanted us to talk. She put that in quotation. Mm-hmm. I felt like that was pointless. If we aren't dating with a purpose, then what's the point? Well, we haven't had any communication with each other since then, but now he watches all my IG stories. I don't follow him on any social media, but he still follows me. I'm trying to figure out if it was me or if it was him, because at this point, I'm questioning myself. Advice needed ASAP. Sincerely, Broken Pussy. I love y'all.
I don't think your pussy's broken. I don't think you should take the blame for this because his dick wasn't working right. Who knows what the reason was, but I would just move on. Just move on. Let it go. If it's got you feeling insecure about your own body and he's giving you all these reasons, it's like there's a few things that you can do to try to rectify it, but it bothers you. You don't like it. You want to have sex. Outside of the sex, the thing that gets to me is he told you, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I misheard something, but he told you he doesn't think y'all have chemistry, but he wants to keep talking. Like, he just wants to waste your time and call you to fuck and take a chance on if his dick is going to work or not. I don't think you should waste your time. I think that you should just move on, cut ties. You don't even have to say anything dramatic. He already told you he doesn't think that y'all have chemistry. There's no connection, but y'all should just keep going. For what? Because he's bored. People are bored.
I think.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say, I agree. I think he's bored and he wants somebody around to give him the verbal validation that, to flirt and to make him feel good and all of these things. But then when it comes down to it, he may just not be sexually interested in you, and you don't have time for that. Go out, find somebody. I agree with you. Go out and find somebody that you can have sex with that actually appreciates you. You don't have time to waste that. And you know what? If he looks at your IG, then either block him if it annoys you or just ignore it.
I have to disagree with you ladies. Broken Pussy, I feel like he might like you and he might be embarrassed about the dick being soft and him not being able to get it up. You seem like you really like him. It seems like y'all had a great time by the way you said it. I think you should bring up his dick being soft. Like, bring it up. It's an elephant in the room and maybe he doesn't know how to talk about it and maybe you should bring it up. You are grown, and if you really do like him and you want to get to the bottom of it, just be like, hey, your dick didn't get hard. Do you have issues? Do you feel embarrassed? He could feel embarrassed and not know how to deal with it. And so I think you should talk to him about it if you do like him. You have another advice, Kiki?
The next one says, hey ladies, I love the show. Thank you ladies for keeping us entertained during this quarantine. Last year, I was in ATL for an event I was hosting for a guy I was seeing. It was a lingerie and PJ themed event and I looked good. One of the sponsors was a personal trainer out of Atlanta and he was fine. Let's call him Chris. Perfect name for a fine ass man. All right. He's tall, muscular, dark skinned, tattooed, with dreads and with a gorgeous wide smile. He wasn't dressed for the event. He kept it professional, but still he was nice to look at. After the event, the guy I was originally there for had an after party back at their Airbnb. Chris, along with a few other people, came to the party. We were all in the kitchen driving the boat with some Hennessy and tequila, and it was Chris's turn. He gets to flicking his tongue and shit, and I'm cheering him on. Clearly, I had been drinking. Fast forward, during the party, I found out the guy I was in ATL for was actually fucking two other girls who were there as well. I didn't let it affect my mood. I just went on enjoying myself. Good job.
Later in the night, my bestie Chris and I were in the kitchen and we were all talking. My bestie gets to choking me, playing around, and before I knew it, Chris's hands were around my neck and I'm pinned against the fridge with his tongue on my neck. Oh. We end up joining. Wait, I lost my spot. We end up joining in the living room, and during the conversation about sex, Chris uses me as an example of how to bend a woman over a couch. I was soaking wet. At that point, I was like, fuck the dude I was in ATL for. The entire weekend, the guy I was there supporting was being distant, and we had only fucked once the entire weekend. Chris and I ended up exchanging social media. And the next day I flew back to Baltimore. Now it's been over a year and Chris and I keep in touch. Chris is coming to Baltimore for work later this year and I really want to fuck him. But y'all, I got a boyfriend. I did not think it was going there. I got a boyfriend. Now, why the fuck would I do that? I don't want to cheat. My boyfriend and I have been back together for over 6 months after breaking up in 2018 because he cheated. Should I just do it and deal with God when I get to heaven? Or keep a clear conscience and keep my pussy in my pants? I've attached a photo of myself and Chris in case you ladies wanted to see. Thanks in advance, beauties. Oh my God. Okay, let me come back. Oh, it looks like we lost Medina. Let me see if she sent me a message. She didn't. Okay, well, when she joins, she'll just hop back on. But that was funny. I was not expecting that at all. Okay, so what do you think she should do?
That is so tough. I mean, when it's good sex like that, and what did she say? She's only been with her boyfriend a year? Like back with him
She said she's been with her for 6 months, not even a year. They broke up back in 2018 and it's been 6 months.
Okay, so the right thing to do is to not see Chris. That's the right thing to do. You should keep your pussy in your pants. Because if it doesn't work, like if it works out with your boyfriend, you would have felt terrible and very guilty for the rest of the time together that you cheated on him. Especially if he'd cheated on her and then she forgave him and they got back together.
Yeah.
Like I would say don't do it. Don't do it. Don't ruin the relationship over like a one night fuck. I mean, just remember the good time, because what if you guys fuck and it's not like the amazing time that you guys fucked and all of that, and then you're disappointed and it you don't want to.
It was a waste. You could end up like the girl who just wrote in the email about Mr. Flaccid.
Right.
What if you get to have sex with him and then you get there, you're in that moment, you've already sucked his dick, and now all of a sudden it won't stay up.
Right.
Like you're going to be pissed.
What if you guys get drunk and it's whiskey dick and then you've wasted a whole like almost cheating fuck about, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's going to have you stressed out. I don't think you should do it. I think you should just leave it alone. I really think it's a dangerous game to stay like even Instagram friends, because you're obviously lusting after him. But I will say this, don't worry about God in this, because I mean, you're not married. So, according to him, you're really not supposed to be fucking either of these people. So it's kind of all one and the same. So you can X that part out of the equation if that helps you at all. But yeah, I hope that you don't have sex with him. But if you do decide to cheat, which you probably will,
call back in and tell us what happens.
Nice. Yeah, send us an email, send us a cocktail, and let us know
but
how
try
it
not
was.
to.
Hopefully,
try
if you
not
do,
to.
yeah, pray about it. Try really hard not to end up having sex with him. Yeah, I don't think you should do it, but hey, you're gonna do what you want to do, and I just can't wait to find out. We need an update after he goes to Baltimore. Okay, so that's it for the advice. Again, remember the email for advice is askcocktails@gmail.com. And now we're going to move on to the cocktails.
If I want fuck, I'm gon' fuck 'em. But if he ain't got a buck, I won't cuff 'em. Spend 100 on me, it ain't nothing. Run a double D, so stuffin'. Back to the point. Is it some cash in this place? If it is, I'll probably stick the stats in your face, turn around. Once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe. Was a hoe. Was a hoe.
Kicked you off. Okay, so now it's time for the cocktails. Remember, if you want to send us something, email us cocktails.atl@gmail.com, and maybe we will read it on the show. So Let's start with you, Lauren, with your cocktail. I'd love to know a good sex or dating experience that you've had. Anybody. It could have been married or not.
It could be hoey or not.
So, I remember the first time I was about to sleep with my now husband, and it was in England. And I had just arrived, and I was talking to a friend of mine who is British. She's here in London, and I was freaking out because I had never slept with someone who was not circumcised.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was freaking out because I had forgotten about this whole thing, right? Like, I just thought, when you're talking to somebody and they're a regular person and all this stuff. And when I got to England and realized, oh, we might be having sex. And I've never seen one or given head to one, or what do I do? Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. And so, like, I'm texting her. It's like, I was supposed to meet up with her and she was going to give me some tips and, like, anyway, so she's texting me and I'm freaking out and she's basically like, it's like a sleeping bag and, telling me but I'm freaking out because I've never seen one, never touched one. I'm used to a American dick or Canadian dick or, Latin dick, any kind of dick that's circumcised. And so I didn't know what to do. And so I had huge anxiety because me, ladies, I know how to perform. And this was something that, because, they have to clean, I'm like, is it going to be clean? What if it's dirty?
If it's not cleaned, it is funky.
That's what she was telling me. And I'm like, I don't know this guy. Like, what if he's not clean? Like, what about our situation? What if we've been outside? Like, I sweat a lot and I write about it. Like, I have, like, I sweaty hands, like, I like to keep myself very clean and, I'm going to make sure I'm very clean. So I hope he's very clean. And what if he's not very clean? And so I was just freaking out. So I had all this anxiety. And when the time came for me to give him a blowy, I was very excited because he was circumcised. But then I was also surprised, like, how are you circumcised? You're British. Because they aren't. And so then I learned that he got adult circumcision and this was the whole story. But I was so surprised. And so then I kind of freaked out about that and, but it was that whole thing. But I started to realize a lot of women, I think a lot of American women don't, like, have you guys been with a lot of people uncircumcised?
I've only been with one man who wasn't circumcised. I didn't like it.
Okay, see, right?
No, Canadian.
Really? Okay, so like, I've been with a couple Canadians, but they've been circumcised. So I feel like it's like hit or miss. But that was something that I felt like more American women probably should be more educated on. Like, because I just remember freaking the fuck out. Like, because there's so many things that I feel like I wouldn't want to, no offense, like, I almost didn't want to have sex with him or blow him because I didn't know. I didn't know. I would have been like, Like, did you freak out? Did you freak out when you had to give him head, the Canadian?
I was really drunk, first of all. But
okay, see,
I
that helps,
out because
right?
it was not clean.
See?
And it smelled like a can of tuna. And so I tried to incorporate warm water and a washcloth into it was crusty. It was horrible.
So was it really like, did you do like some romantic hand job with this like towel?
It was literally horrible. I can't even, and I was so embarrassed for him that I couldn't. For some reason, I didn't feel comfortable telling him that he was funky, and I was younger, and he was a professional athlete. I really should have told his little stanky self that he needed to get in the shower and clean his goddamn dick off. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Like, it
was bad. It was bad. It was bad.
Right, because you had the anxiety. Yeah, it's... God, I feel for you. Mm-hmm. You took one for the team. Now, did it feel... Real quick, I have to ask. Did it feel different having sex?
No, when you roll it back, no. Like, the actual, like, action of it didn't feel different, but you do have to keep... He had to keep stopping and rolling it back.
During sex. Yeah, see, no. Yeah. No.
Oh my God. No. Kiki, do you have an OG cocktail this week?
I do.
Oh, you do?
And it ain't got nothing to do with dirty dick.
I hope not, girl.
And I was gonna say, I had sex with somebody who was uncircumcised, but I didn't suck his dick for like a long time. This is years and years ago. Like the second guy I ever had sex with. I never saw it when it was flaccid. I only saw it when it was hard. He would always be holding and then he put the condom on. So I didn't know that it was not circumcised for a very, very long time. Thank God, because I probably would have freaked out. And then being much younger, I'd be like, what's wrong with your dick? Like, what is this? Because I really would have been clueless. Now, you know, it's a little bit different. I know a little bit more. Got a little bit more life under my belt. But anyway, okay, yeah. So I do have a cocktail this week. So remember last week or whatever week that was, I can't remember. The days are blending together, but I was saying I'm really fucking horny and I need to have sex. I want sex and I want it now. I got what I wanted. So, I feel like I manifested really good sex for myself. I was in a very extremely horny mood where I felt like if I didn't have sex that day, I might turn into a violent person, which I'm not, but it was just a lot of sexual tension built up in my body. Okay. So, before, I think it was like right after we recorded, I went and I took my herbal supplements and I took a shower and I was getting ready to go. So I go to the guy's house and I get there. And so he's like cleaning up and stuff because he had some stuff to do that week. He's just preparing. You know, when you go out of town, you want your place to be nice and clean or whatever. So I was like, how long is this going to take? Because I came over here to suck your dick and hop on it, not to watch you clean up and watch fucking Netflix. You know, I came here with a purpose. So anyway, I fall asleep on the couch like I always do. The shit was taking too long. And then I woke up with kind of like an attitude because I was like, I know I did not come over here to take a nap on this man's couch. Like, what the fuck? But he was waking me up. He was like, come on, come to my room. So we go in the room. I don't know why, but I just had this really strong urge to suck his dick. I don't usually feel that way. I know I don't usually feel that way, but something was happening. I don't know if it was the she orgasms pills. I don't know if it was because it had been a few days since I had sex. I'm acting like I have sex every day. And like when I don't have sex for like 3 days, I'm acting like it's been 3 years. And I really need to like see somebody about this because it's turned into a problem. Anyway. So I'm sucking his dick, I kid you not, for at least like 30 minutes. And I kept stopping because I was like, well, I don't want you to finish. So I'm just going to stop, tease him a little bit. So I'm sucking his dick. This person usually, I don't ask him to give me head a lot because it's usually not very good. It's just like, whatever. So it's like, we can skip that part. Like, just fuck me. It's really good when he just fucks me. So I'm just like, you don't have to do that. You know, like this is a waste of time. It's really not getting me anywhere. So we're wasting time. You're looking up all my juices and I need those for later, you know? So all of a sudden he's like playing with my pussy with his hands. And I just had, after a while, he like picks me up and moves me, like moves my ass to like sit on his face. And I was just like, what is happening here? It was very strange. I liked it. Don't get me wrong, but it was just very strange, very surprising. This is new behavior for him. So he's eating my pussy probably like 38 seconds. And I was like, oh my God, you have to stop. Like, I don't know what you took. I don't know what you're doing back there. I don't know if you have some sort of contraption with you, but the shit is feeling too good. So he laughed and did not stop. And I was like, oh, you're on demon time today too, I see. So anyway, so we're in the 69 position. He's eating my pussy. I'm sucking his dick. And then he like kind of pulled me back so that I couldn't reach his dick anymore. And so I just had to enjoy it. And then after a while, I had this like really intense orgasm, and we hadn't even like actually had sex yet. And I just felt like maybe I might be on the brink of an aneurysm or a heart attack or something where I'm going to be dead. This is not going to be good. So I like roll over. I felt like I was crippled, like I couldn't move. My body is like twitching. And then he started moving towards me. Like I guess he thought, okay, well now I'm going to fuck you. And I kicked him because I was like, you've got it. Not in his penis, but like in his stomach, chest area. A gentle, like I shoved him with my foot, I guess is how I should say. Yeah. So, not a drop kick because we're still in the bed. Just, a little, instead of my hand, it was the foot. So, I'm glad that I was like, really, I don't think I can handle this. And I feel like something could happen. I feel like it might have nerve damage or something. I don't know what you did a minute ago. It was great. So anyway, so we're having sex. He puts me in this position and it's kind of hard to describe, but I just know if I get in that position again, I don't know what's going to happen. So it's like, okay, he's on his side. He's laying on his left side. I'm going to try my best to describe this to you guys so that you can visualize it, everybody who's listening and watching. So he's laying on his left side and his legs are together. And he has his left arm is out and he like pulls me to him with his arm. So I'm like laying in his arm. So my back is on the bed by him. My pussy is on his dick. My left leg is aligned with his legs like on the bed, but the other leg is like up and to the side and he's holding it with his other arm. So it's kind of like a Y in a weird way. I don't know.
This position last week. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't think I want that again. Like I do, but I don't. I don't know. But it's a really, really, really good position. The sex was great. When I finished, I cried. And this is like the second time that I've cried during sex. And I'm like, okay, I have to stop. And he was like, are you crying again? I said, no, my eyes are sweating. And that's it. It's time to go to bed. And I just couldn't sleep. I was just like up. Like I just didn't know what was going on. But it felt great. It was a fun time. It was just a fuck buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
so
a good time.
my cocktail is going to be short and sweet, just like my dick session was. So I have been making these little, I'm calling them thought hops to Houston, Texas. Lauren, my little bae lives in Houston.
You call them what?
I'm calling it a thought hop. I did a thought hop over to Houston before I came to Oklahoma City. I was supposed to go to LA this weekend with my bae, but I couldn't because I had to come see my sister and help her. I'm doing God's work. So she flies me out to Houston, and it literally, Lauren, it was for less than 10 hours. Flies me out on a night flight, and then I'm leaving in the early afternoon flight. So we fucked all of the however many hours you're supposed to be sleeping. I was looking crazy, tracks coming out of my head. Getting dressed, we wake up in the morning, we go get breakfast. He's like, I'm gonna miss you. I'm like, I'm gonna miss you. I don't want to leave. This was too short. So he's like, well, I want to fuck you again before I take you to the airport. And I'm like, it's like rush mode because I like to leave in the right amount of time to get to the airport where you're not waiting around at the gate. So I was like, babe, we really need to go. We should be leaving here within the next 15 minutes. He's like, I can do it. We could do it. I was like, okay, you need to nut that quickly because we have like long, passionate sex normally. He's like, I got it. So I'm dressed. I got my Yeezys on. I got my jeans on. I got a white t-shirt on. I take my glasses off. I'm holding them in my hand like this. And I take my hat off. I had a hat on. I pull my jeans down. You guys, this might be the best position to fuck in. And it was very quick. I pull my jeans down to my knees, right? And my panties and stuff. And I'm leaning over the edge of the bed. Like my elbows are on the very edge of the bed. We're not like on the bed. And he's standing behind me. And my knees are kind of like in a position like on the bed, but kind of helping me bounce. And I'm literally just like, I don't picture it like you're bending over to catch your breath and your hands are on your knees. So my hands are on the bed, but my knees are still bent. And I'm just bouncing my ass on his dick. Made him come in like, I would say probably 3.5 minutes. You guys, it felt so good. And then he nutted, it got a little bit on me. I kept it there. And then I put my pants on and went to the airport. It was great. It was great. It was quick. It was perfect, y'all. And that's my cocktail.
Okay, I think I get the sex tales. So the sex tale is actually a position. You tell a position.
It doesn't have to be a position. We just happen to have that. Both of us have that this week.
Okay.
It could be
that's
anything.
what it is.
Yeah. You having that uncircumcised situation is fine.
Gotcha.
Because just never know. We just happen to have some good sex. Yeah. Congratulations. I'm glad that we both did. And I hope that you have some today too.
Lauren, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You have some tonight.
I appreciate you guys so much. And I appreciate you guys, being so supportive of the book. I mean, it's been such a journey, with, #1 on Amazon and all that good stuff. And I just appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, right now, if you want to plug anything that you have coming up, tell people know where they can get your book. Now would be the time.
Okay, great. Well, if anybody wants to follow me on Instagram, it's @FemaleLikesCheese. You can find the book on Amazon, on Apple Books. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. I've been on ABC, Fox, NBC, talking about dating. There's a lot of exciting things coming out soon. So, I just appreciate you guys having me on. This was so much fun. And, it's been such a great journey talking about dating with everybody.
Thanks again for coming on. You guys, please make sure that you sign up for our Patreon for the bonus episodes and extra content. It's patreon.com/CockTales. Also this week, I was on an episode of Period Sis. It came out yesterday. So please listen to it. And follow us on Instagram at CockTales Podcast. I'm at Kiki Said So.
I'm at Coffee Bean Bean.
And until next week, you guys. Bye.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Population.
Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.